Today on Investigate TV Plus Weekend, teens hooked as a system fails to keep vapes out of kids' hands.
I don't want to ever have to see another parent go through seeing their son or daughter gasping for breath on a field that they used to dominate.
Plus, a mother's loss, now a lifeline for others. We examine how a small button on high school ID badges could boost security.
Time equals life. So knowing that they have their panic button and that they can push it and get a law enforcement there, I think is so extremely important.
Investigate TV Plus Weekend starts right now. Hello and welcome to Investigate TV Plus Weekend. I'm Lee Zurich. Parents might want to listen up. Our team went secret shopping and uncovered just how easy it is for your kids to buy vapes or e-cigarettes online. Our Rachel DePompa reveals the growing abuse of these products among teens and the loopholes retailers are exploiting.
How did this happen when he knew the dangers? But he did, and he couldn't stop now. He craved it every day, all day, and sadly, he still struggles with it today.
Donna Bartlett has read this letter countless times to lawmakers across this country, hoping for change.
There were so many signs, but I did not see them because I did not know what to look for.
It's about her son, who became addicted to vaping as a junior in high school. He went from a straight-A student and star athlete to struggling with school and having respiratory issues.
I don't want to ever have to see another parent go through seeing their son or daughter gasping for breath on a field that they used to dominate.
Bartlett had no idea her son was taking used vape pens out of trash cans or bathroom stalls at school and rigging ways to recharge them. It's been illegal since 2019 for any retailer to sell any tobacco product to anyone under 21. That law includes e-cigarettes, also known as vapes.
A lot of the kids are getting them illegally. I mean, you can go online and buy stuff. The simple question on the computer says, "Are you over 21?" Sure, I'll click yes. They're not going to know one way or the other, right?
Bartlett is right. We were able to get through easy age verification questions on multiple websites that sell vapes. Now, some sites did stop us because they use website age checkers that verify your information against public records. But not every site does this. Some online vape sellers never even asked our age. Within seconds, we had our carts loaded and ready to pay. But what we found on social media was even more alarming. We found vapes for sale on TikTok, even though the company says the products are banned. Here's what's happening. Instead of using the word vape, which is flagged, buyers and sellers are using different language, calling them things like sensory packs or fidget toys. This TikTok seller writing, "Discreet packaging, no ID." So we started ordering. One third-party seller messaged us privately and said, "I'm so sorry that the shop was been shut down. TikTok canceled your order." Then they directed us to their website off TikTok and said our order will not get canceled for sure. Discreet packaging, no ID, and the price is cheaper on my website. So we ordered there too, and that canceled TikTok shop order ended up not being canceled. We got that vape too. TikTok Shop is only available if your account settings show you're 18 and older. After we showed TikTok what we bought, a company spokesperson told us, "We strictly prohibit these products for sale on TikTok Shop and have banned the sellers offering the identified products. The shops we bought from are gone." According to the Centers for Disease Control, more than 1.6 million middle and high school students across the nation are using e-cigarettes.
Do we have an e-cigarette problem in this country when it comes to kids?
Yeah, we have a significant problem. We know that there is a significant number of kids at the high school level that have the products. We know that there are a lot of middle school aged kids that have the products. And unfortunately, we're also getting products shipped to us out of the elementary schools.
These boxes arrive almost daily to Dr. Michelle Peace's forensics lab at Virginia Commonwealth University.
So get a box. It's got 30 or 40 products in it.
They're filled with vapes confiscated from students
The student's grade level. How did the student acquire the device?
at schools across Virginia.
Once you have something that is that small, once you have something that is that thin, right, that could be a highlighter pen. That can be in the string of a hoodie.
She has one of the only forensics labs in the country that's collecting vapes directly from school systems to test them.
The instrument generates data in real time for us.
In 10 years, she and her students have analyzed more than 4,000 products. Last fall, for example, 85% of the samples they tested contained nicotine. 15% had THC.
There are some school systems that have told us that they think that as much as 40 to 50% of their students are vaping.
She also says the amount of nicotine they're finding in the vapes does not always match the amount listed on the label. It's often twice as much.
We're probably still 10 to 20 years away from understanding what the long-term impacts are to the human body.
Dr. Peace says she often goes online as a secret shopper to see how easy it is to get around age verification.
In the early days, in order for me to purchase something online, I had to hold my driver's license up next to my face, take a selfie with that, and then send them to finish the purchase. Now you just have to put in your birth date, and that can be fake.
Could someone lie?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
In California, Dr. Eric Lees and his team have been studying why it's so easy for teens to get vapes.
Suspected an issue, but stunning, the scale of it.
His team bought 156 flavored vape products online. 105 vapes were delivered to their homes. Only one buyer had their ID scanned. It's illegal for retailers to mail vapes through the U.S. Postal Service or other major carriers like FedEx or UPS.
The regulations themselves, I would say, are pretty strong. Some of them come with steep penalties. The issue more that I see is that we aren't doing enough to enforce them.
USPS delivered 81% of the vapes ordered by the researchers. This is also how the vapes we bought online were delivered to us, through USPS. We reached out to the Postal Service about these deliveries and have not heard back.
Would you recognize it just looking at it as a parent if that arrived in the mail? Would you know that's a vape?
Absolutely not. I would think this is some type of toy or a gadget, or I mean, even looking at the name on the product, it tells me nothing.
For 20 years, Marcy Thornhill has been mentoring teens, helping them get into college. She's warning parents the devices are now pretty, they're colorful, they're really well designed.
The fruity flavors attract children. They attract young people. They taste good. They smell good. Just like we did when we were kids with lip gloss that tastes like grape.
And she points out most of the products she's seen in the hands of kids are unregulated.
These are products that are developed by whomever, wherever, however.
We took our findings to Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, the first congressional leader to start an investigation into what he calls the youth vaping epidemic.
I think the FDA is asleep at the switch.
He says illicit vapes are flooding the online market, often shipped here by foreign countries.
We have to take enforcement action to clear the shelves of these illegal vapes. Only 34 vapes have been approved by the FDA to be sold to consumers. Only 34. So everything else is illegal.
As for Donna,
What I found out then, it truly does take a village.
even as her son still struggles with vaping, she won't stop telling his story.
I mean, our goal is to educate and to get to as many people as we can and get these vapes off the market for these kids.
Until the smoke clears.
Dr. Peace tested the vapes we order through the mail, and she says they do contain nicotine. We reached out to Geek Bar for comment, but did not hear back. To read the FDA's full statement and response to our questions about vaping products, you can visit InvestigateTV.com.
She was only 14 years old when she was murdered. She should be in college right now.
Coming up, a mother turns pain into purpose, pushing for panic buttons in every school. We take an in-depth look at the growing use of this silent alert system. Parents expect their kids to come home safe from school, but for many families in this country, the threat of a school shooting is a very real fear. Now some districts are turning to panic buttons, technology designed to instantly alert police during a threat. One system has already been credited with saving lives. Our Heather Graff shows us how it works and why experts say it's just one part of making schools safer.
It was September 4th, 2024. Gunfire erupted at Appalachia High School in Barrow County, Georgia.
I had saw one of my classmates on the ground bleeding so bad.
Students shaken as parents feared the worst.
Parked my car probably a mile away and literally ran to the school.
And at the end of that deadly day,
can you tell me if the shooter is still active? Is it still active?
4 killed, 9 injured, and a 14-year-old in custody after yet another school shooting in America.
My heart hurts for these kids.
Yet Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith also said lives were saved here in part due to the school's new alert system that launched just a few days prior.
All of our teachers are armed with a form of an ID called Centegix. And Centegix alarms us and alerts the law enforcement office after buttons are pressed on an ID, and it alerts us that there is an active situation at the school for whatever reason.
The technology he's talking about is essentially a wearable panic button. This one made by a company called Centegix, and you can see it looks similar to an ID badge, but there's a button built into the back of the card. The idea is that a teacher would click the button 3 times in situations such as a medical emergency, in which case on-site school administrators would be notified. But clicking the button 8 times indicates a worst-case scenario like a mass shooting and triggers campus-wide alerts, plus real-time notifications to school resource officers and local law enforcement. Those alerts also include GPS data designed to pinpoint the exact location of a threat down to the hallway. And authorities say that's what happened at Appalachia High School, where SROs quickly confronted and detained the alleged shooter.
This type of technology absolutely helps to mitigate risk and loss.
Lori Alhadeff runs a nonprofit called Make Our Schools Safe. That advocacy work fueled by agony following the 2018 massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida.
Alyssa was shot 8 times, and she was in the direct line of fire, unfortunately.
Lori's daughter, Alyssa Alhadeff, was one of 17 victims in that shooting, gunned down in her 9th grade English class.
She was only 14 years old when she was murdered. She should be in college right now.
It's why Lori, in the years since, has fought for better safeguards for students and teachers, including panic buttons or silent alarms. In fact, that's the goal of Alyssa's law, which requires or encourages panic buttons in schools. To date, Lori says 7 states have approved versions of the bill that bears her daughter's name.
Time equals life. So knowing that they have their panic button and that they can push it and get a law enforcement there, I think is so extremely important.
And even in the absence of a state mandate, some schools, like Appalachia High, have implemented panic buttons on their own.
Do you think this approach is gaining traction in light of the shooting in Georgia?
I think it absolutely did.
Experts say that's almost to be expected after a high-profile school shooting because families and school leaders are desperate for solutions. A recent Gallup poll found 44% of U.S. adults with a child in kindergarten through 12th grade say they fear for their child's safety at school.
They're investing in what I call the shiny object syndrome.
Ken Trump, no relation to President Donald Trump, is a school security expert based out of Ohio.
So we have a big job here.
And Dewey Cornell is a professor of education at the University of Virginia who spent decades researching school safety.
I understand that once a shooting has occurred, that seconds matter.
In your opinion, do these panic buttons make schools safer?
There's absolutely no evidence, research or otherwise, that a panic button is going to prevent an incident from happening, and that's where we need to make our focus.
Let's try to reduce the likelihood of a shooting as well.
And so we asked them both.
How do schools strike that balance?
Well, schools need more resources and emphasis on preventive measures.
Cornell recommends every school has its own behavioral threat assessment team that works to identify students at risk of committing violence and then intervenes to get them help. That approach currently required in the 10 states you see here.
Rather than hit the panic button, I'd rather identify a problem and have a counselor, a psychologist, others work with that young person long before they bring the gun to school.
And Ken Trump maintains no technology is more valuable or effective than an alert campus community and a well-trained staff.
Educators need to be communicating with parents, students, and staff. See something and say something, but also train people to do something once somebody reports.
As for L'Oreal Hadef, she believes the answer is perhaps all of the above.
We have to remember school safety is a layered approach.
And plans to continue pushing for panic buttons. Because when a shooter showed up at her daughter's school, she feels more layers of protection were needed.
I would love for every state for it to be mandatory, and knowing that every time that panic button is pushed, Alyssa is saving lives.
The latest available federal data shows that as of 2022, 43% of public schools reported they had panic buttons or silent alarms with a direct connection to law enforcement. But so far, the evidence of their effectiveness remains largely anecdotal.
Endless levels, glowing screens, and a growing number of kids who can't log off. Up next, how screen time is rewiring young brains and what parents can do about it. Chances are your child or grandchild plays video games. For most, it's harmless fun. But for some, gaming can spiral into a serious addiction. Our Tisha Pell shows you the warning signs and what parents can do to set healthy limits.
3, 2, 1, go! From Xboxes to Switches and PlayStations.
She does want to play it all the time.
More children and teens are turning on and leveling up. But the time kids spend building that skill has some parents questioning how much is too much.
They have no sense of reality.
Sarah and Matt are concerned about excessive video game play and want to ensure their kids' fun doesn't turn into an addiction. And while medical experts say anyone can develop a video game addiction, certain age groups are more at risk. Research from 2024 shows a majority of addicted gamers are adolescents and young adults between 18 to 34 years old, but nearly 9% of children under the age of 18 may be addicted. And video game addiction has become so common that in 2018, the World Health Organization recognized gaming disorder as a mental health issue.
Is indeed a significant public health issue.
Eddie Luker is a licensed clinical therapist with the Mayo Clinic Health System. He says screen time can be engaging for people of all ages. This is because the brain processes and reacts to the sensory input as if it were happening to them and releases dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that gives the players a feeling of pleasure or satisfaction. In other words, when a person overdoses on screen time,
that pleasure reward center of the brain just getting tickled a little too much.
And even before someone becomes addicted, Luker's research shows too much time in front of a screen can be linked to poor sleep, loss of social skills, depression, eye strain, and neck and back problems. It's also linked to obesity because of increased food intake while playing.
They're staying inside and watching their screens. They're not moving. And then all the health issues that come along with that, diabetes, high blood pressure, that's happening in younger children.
To prevent addiction, pediatric psychiatrist Dr. Preeti Sandhu tells patients to establish video game boundaries and recommends establishing that video games should be a reward for good behavior, like doing chores or studying.
If our kids are asking for independence, especially our teens, we got to kind of show them how to actually earn that.
But ground rules are important too. She suggests following the American Academy of Pediatrics non-educational screen time guidelines. No more than an hour per day for children between 2 and 5, and curb older kids to an absolute max of 2 hours per day. And Luker encourages parents to join in if the game is interactive.
Don't just let them sit and game in an isolated environment where there's no interaction going on, because children learn language by interacting with adults, not by watching something on the screen.
Back in the living room, expert advice is put into play. Sarah insists her daughter enjoys a balanced schedule.
Creative things, educational things that don't involve the television.
And Matt installed technology, which turns off all tech devices at 9 p.m. sharp. Matt's son, Cameron, admits that even though he doesn't like restrictions, they're probably for the best.
The structure now is good, and I would like to keep that.
After the break, college dreams come with a rising price tag. We help you plan ahead, cut costs, and find money you didn't know was there. According to a 2024 College Av survey, fewer than a half of parents with a child in college feel prepared to pay that first tuition bill. Carice Jackman speaks with an educator about practical steps to make college costs more affordable in this week's Watching Your Wallet.
Nikita Williams is the site director for Arizona State University at their Washington, D.C. location.
We have brought a hybrid online program for students earning their undergraduate degree. We mainly focus on students who are first-generation college goers because we provide a tremendous amount of support for our students.
Over the years, Williams has watched the cost of higher education skyrocket.
I think back on when I went to school, it was $20,000 for all 4 years. Education now is at about $20,000 per year.
When it comes to preparing for college, Williams recommends building relationships with high school college counselors and applying for as many college scholarships as possible.
Apply, apply, apply. Random scholarships. It doesn't matter if it's $1,000. That's $1,000 less that you have to pay. Some parents, I would say, 529 scholarship savings funds.
Williams also suggests carefully considering your options: public universities, private institutions, community colleges, or even a hybrid program like this one at ASU.
And how much is enough to save?
So about a third of the tuition saved up, cash, readily accessible. Think of a third in scholarships, loans, aid, financial aid, whatever the case may be, help, assistance. And then another third, I think you should have a conversation as well, if possible, about let's be open about our finances. You may need to get a job and contribute to your own schooling.
So start early, do your research, and figure out the best path for you as you begin this next chapter.
And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us here on Investigate TV Plus Weekend.